Hi then, welcome back to Bands and the Humans podcast. I am your host Bands and you are the humans. I hope everyone is feeling okay during these turbulent and tumultuous times. People's fears, people's anxieties are on a high as well. And today I have a very important question, and it is whether or not we should fear God. A lot of people in their religious doctrines are told to fear God. And what does it mean? What does it mean to fear God? And should we proceed along with that, or should we find other means of glorifying or recognizing this force we call God? And my answer to that is very simple, and it's no. But I can't just leave you guys at that with a simple no. I have to expand according to the academic standards of the fictitious walls of the institutions. I have to expand on my word. I have to elaborate on my statement. So I will do so, and we start at understanding the point of what is fear. And for me, fear is false evidence appearing real. We as humans experience fear when a new idea is introduced or presented to us in a way that we have not yet explored, not realizing that that very same idea is only an intrinsic or essential aspect of ourselves that we have not yet delved into on a personal basis. And so the mind, being the mind, reacts in a way only the mind can react. It projects this thing as something to be afraid of or something to be feared. Yet it is only when we learn how to understand what is standing in front of us do we then learn how to engage with it and learn how to build a functional relationship with that very same thing that would have imposed a sense of fear in our minds and in our hearts. But it is when we shine a light upon these things that were cast over by darkness of ignorance, when we come to realize that these things are much a part of us and we are just as much a part of it. Now, in an article on what is fear, Lisa Fischer states that fear is a natural, powerful, and primitive emotion. It involves a universal biochemical response as well as high emotional response. Fear alerts us to the presence of danger or the threat of harm, whether the danger is physical or psychological. Unquote. You can find more on that article on www.verywellmind.com. Now, from this article and our previous understanding, one can clearly see that there is no need for fear. One only needs to be mindful and aware of the fact that there are forces that pervade the human senses, the human perception, and human conception within our minds. But that is not a reason for fear, only for deeper understanding, only for a more in-depth understanding. I want to make an example about how one can take a look within something as a reflection of themselves and see a true and clear depiction of what it is that they are looking for. I want you to imagine a lake that is still, unmoved by any turbulence in the water or any action in the water. It is still unflowing. Now picture yourself coming over onto this plane of water and looking over it. You would see yourself without any interruption or distortion. You would see a reflection of yourself. But once you throw a stone in that water, the water begins to ripple, causing you to now see a distorted reflection of yourself, which is not a true depiction of what it is, as it was caused by an external force outside of the water. And it is in that exact same view that one can view their relationship with God, or whatever name or function you have given to this creative force. Fear would only seek to corrupt and distort a pure, unbound relationship with the creative force. Now, in this case, I want to convey an idea of what the stone that was thrown into the river might be. In the case of Isaac Newton, a famous physicist who was hit by an apple as he lay under a tree. The apple hit his head, which in turn caused divine inspiration for what we would come to know as gravity, or the theory thereof. But here lies the fallacy of human observation. Instead of observing the principles that were involved in the creation of the apple, he chose to study the force that caused the apple to fall on his head, and he labeled it gravity. Now, we might look at that and say, as above, so below, as within, so without. Our exoteric world is just as much the same as our esoteric world. Now, Newton was not wrong in studying the external forces that caused the apple to fall on his head, but it highlights the lack of inward awareness that we do have as a people. We need more people to look within to understand the world from its own heart. The less amount of times we do that, the more we deprive ourselves of a more holistic experience of life. So, in that exact same fashion, if we look at ourselves outside or external to this creative force that we call God, we then distort the still waters of the lakes and give ourselves a reflection that is untrue. And that is when one experiences the symptoms of fear. So, the next time someone tells you to fear God, ask them, why would I fear myself if I know myself? And we breathe. This has been Bands and the Humans podcast, episode 10 of Free Rants. I am your host, Bands, and you are the humans. Peace.